Welcome to my bedroom. This is the little seating area right in front of the TV, and since I'm just gonna be shopping the Sephora sale today, I wanted to do something a little more comfortable and casual. I went through the entire Sephora website and added every single product I might be possibly interested in, and then I'm gonna do sort of an anti-haul thought process, eliminating as many items as I can, and I'll put the items up here on the screen so you know what I'm talking about. Now, this Sephora haul is gonna be a little bit bigger than usual because John and I have spent months in anticipation of the sale simply so we can get the Dyson hairdryer, which is a gut-wrenching $429. I'm not a hair tool person, I'm not a hair person at all, but John and I recently stayed at the Soho House in Austin and they had the hairdryer and we were both like, it was the most powerful, yet the most quiet hairdryer we'd ever used. It was like a totally different hair drying experience. Already my cart is gonna be very expensive, but I've tried to find other sales that might be better than the Sephora sale, and I haven't seen anyone say that Dyson does a better discount than 20% off, so I think I'm gonna bite the bullet and get that today. So I've got a casual 30 items in my cart right now, with the discount totaling $1,167, and that's without tax. The first item in my cart is the jumbo size of the Living Proof full shampoo, and that to me is such an exceptional product. I talked about it in my Sephora recommendations video. It has basically transformed my hair. It's the only shampoo that I want to use. It makes it look shinier and healthier and bouncier. I don't know if the shampoo makes my hair look fuller necessarily, but it definitely doesn't weigh my hair down like a lot of other shampoos. I've only had the regular size of the Living Proof full shampoo and conditioner for about a month and I'm almost out of them. So I'm definitely getting the jumbo size. That being said, it's $62, which is a lot considering I'm not one to really spend much money on hair care. But because I saw such amazing results from the shampoo, and I went through the normal bottle so fast, to me it's worth it. And I'm also about to run out of my beloved Tatcha Indigo Overnight Repair Serum and Cream Treatment, which was also in my Sephora recommendations video. It's a can't live without kind of product, like need to have a backup before I run out kind of product. It hydrates the skin, it soothes the skin, moisturizes, locks everything in, and when you wake up in the morning, you feel like you still have freshly applied skincare. And it's $88, so since I'm about to run out and I can get the discount, I'm definitely gonna purchase it right now. The next one I'm on the fence about. It's new from Sephora. I haven't heard anyone talk about it. It's called the K-Skin Universal Mineral Face Moisturizer with SPF 55 and squalane. It's very hard to find a mineral sunscreen that has an SPF factor of 55. Most of them are like SPF 30, SPF 35. Sadly, because of my sensitivity, I can't use any chemical sunscreens. I've tried chemical sunscreens, like the best of the best. None of them have worked for my skin, so I have to stick with all mineral sunscreen. And obviously, you don't like a white cast, so you're limited by that. But zinc can also be very drying, or it can be very greasy, so it's hard to find a really good sunscreen for me. Now, what's interesting about the K-Skin sunscreen, obviously the SPF 55 is really appealing to me, but it has squalane, which my skin really likes, and all of the pictures online show that it has a very, very thin texture and a yellow tint. Some people did complain that if you sweat, it looks like you just have like yellow paint running down your face, which is not good. But other people in the reviews swear by this formula and by the color. Somehow that yellow tint is kind of a universal canceling out of the white cast. So I'm running out of all of my favorite sunscreens right now, and I thought it would be time to try something new. That one's $34, and it's the kind of thing I could see myself eliminating and just waiting until I run out of some of the sunscreens I'm using and then going back and buying it, because for me, $34 for a sunscreen isn't that bad. But I'm gonna keep it in my cart for now, and the next product I'm interested in is the KVD Beauty Good Apple Lightweight Full Coverage Concealer. I know my friend Kaki really enjoys this one, but unfortunately for me, I'm gonna remove it from my cart because I got a ton of DMs that the shades are just way off. They don't have anything that would look even neutral on my skin. My complexion would fall in the range around 111, but from there on, it's all super, super yellow and peachy tones, which is nothing new for me. Anytime I buy concealer, generally, because I'm in between a fair shade and a light shade, that fair light spectrum never has something that's a little more pink without being too light. And so I'm just extraordinarily limited by the fact that most brands don't make a concealer shade that matches my skin. So the KVD is gonna go. Okay, next we have the Tarte C-Power Flex Full Coverage Vegan Concealer. If you can't tell, I'm looking for a full coverage concealer. The one I'm wearing today is my beloved Fit Glow in C2.5, but I feel really bad that it's the only under eye concealer I use, and Fit Glow is expensive. It's not the most accessible. So I'm looking for something so I can use it on camera and have another recommendation for you guys. But honestly, I'm just so limited by the shade range. Last weekend, I was in the Bay Area. I went to a Sephora. I swatched this Tarte concealer, and sadly, per usual, they don't make a shade for me, so this is a skip. Continuing the concealer trend, we have the Lawless Conceal the Deal Full Coverage Concealer, and I've picked the shade Petal. I went to their website, they have like a shade finder quiz, and they picked the shade Petal for me, which I'm a little bit nervous by because they describe it as fair with cool undertones. My skin is not quite as light as what would be marketed as fair. I'm in between fair and light. So I have a feeling that Petal is gonna be too light for me, but the shade Linen looks like it would be too dark and too yellow. So they may not make a shade for me. It's the kind of thing where maybe like in a few months, I'll try to go to Sephora when they finally have it in stock and swatch it. But when I went to Sephora last weekend, it wasn't available. But I'm gonna keep it in my cart for now because I'm really interested in the fact that it's described as full coverage, but really flexible and somewhat hydrating. That's what I'm looking for. We have the Living Proof Full Conditioner. I think I could skip getting the jumbo size of this because I really don't use conditioner anywhere except on the very ends of my hair. Otherwise it ends up looking, you know, weighed down and a little bit too oily for me. So I think I'm gonna actually change this to the regular size, which is $30. Now we have the Moroccan Oil Dry Shampoo for Light Tones. Also in my Sephora recommendations video, I'm almost out of my full-size can, so I'm gonna get one more backup. The next one is the KVD Good Apple Skin Perfecting Hydrating Foundation Balm. Again, I was able to swatch this when I went to Sephora last weekend. They actually had this product in stock. And the texture felt amazing. It was this really cool balmy texture that didn't feel greasy or like too sticky. But sadly, again, they did not make a shade for me. The ones that matched my skin were very much too yellow. And then the ones that seemed to match my undertone more were too light. That's my experience with almost every single complexion product. So nothing new there, that's a skip. Okay, next I have a Moroccan Oil Mini Luminous Hairspray Stronghold. So we're going to Coachella in a couple weeks. I don't wanna bring my whole full-size Verb hairspray, so I'm just gonna get this $12 hairspray I haven't tried because it's a mini size and I really love Moroccan Oil hair products, so we're gonna get that. Next up, I have the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Bronzer in the shade Light. I asked you guys on Instagram what bronzer I should get because my beloved Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, they reformulated. I just don't understand why brands do that. They take like a cult classic product everybody loves and then they just change it and ruin it. Now light bronze is like a very dark orange. It's just not at all what it used to be, so I'm not gonna use that anymore. I was gonna get the Fenty bronzer in Into Sun, which a lot of you recommended to me in my last video, but I had a ton of people reach out to me, like friends that I really wholeheartedly trust, say that it was dry and powdery and patchy and that it's simply a great color, but it's not the most cosmetically elegant formula out there. So I'm not gonna get the Fenty. Instead, all of my friends swear by the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Bronzer in Light. And I know Amanda Z really loves this one and she thought that this would be a great one for me. So I'm gonna get this. That one's $28. I'm in desperate need of a new powder bronzer since my Physicians Formula is trash. And next up, I have the K-Skin Isle Lip Balm with SPF 30. So this is described as a chemical SPF lip balm, and I've been burned by those before. Unfortunately, most chemical sunscreen lip balms just leave that gross, intense sunscreen taste in your mouth, like if you've ever tried the Supergoop ones. I've never found a chemical sunscreen lip balm that does not taste absolutely disgusting. But now that I'm remembering, I just bought one of the Color Science lip shines. I got the clear shade. That's a zinc-based lip gloss with SPF 35. That one doesn't have a taste. It's a beautiful shine, comfortable gloss formula. So even though this is only like $14, I think I'm gonna skip on it and wait until some more reviews come out where I can find if it has a bad taste or not. So I'm gonna remove the K-Skin lip balm, but keep the sunscreen. Okay, then I have the Dyson hairdryer, which comes with all of the attachments. It's got like the smoother, it's got the diffuser, and I'm gonna keep it in my cart for now. I really, really, really want it. But it's a really painful price. So we're gonna keep it. Next, we have the Moroccan Oil Mini Dry Shampoo for light tones. I already know I'm getting a full size, but I wanted to pick up 2 of the minis for my trip to Coachella so I don't have to bring a whole full size bottle. I like having a ton of mini Moroccan Oil products. That's one of the reasons I love their stuff so much, is most of their products seem to come in a mini size. So I'm almost out of my travel size containers, so I am gonna pick up 2. Next up, I was watching Kate the Great's Sephora recommendations video, and she talked about the Milk Makeup Mini Hydro Grip Setting and Refreshing Spray. And I was just thinking about how recently my skin has just been, it's been going through it. My skin's felt really tight and dry, and like even my Glossier After Balm, my most soothing, hydrating, barrier repair, moisturizing products just are not doing it for me right now. I don't know what's happening. So I thought that this Milk Makeup kind of like refreshing spray would be really good on days when I do have to powder my face when I'm on camera, but then it starts feeling kind of tight. But as I've been thinking about this product, I've been really excited that it comes in a mini, which is only $20. However, I totally forgot that I have a Tatcha Luminous, like, what is it? Dewy mist spray. It's not my favorite. I love the very fine mist, but it's like oil going on your face. And I just want to get through that bottle. I don't need to have like separate refreshing setting sprays. So I'm gonna get through the Tatcha and then I'll try the mini of the Milk Hydro Grip. So I'm gonna remove the milk. Next up, I've been really interested in trying some new fragrances. Last year, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, I did a whole try-on series. I must have tried at least like 100 fragrance samples, and I'll leave a link to my Instagram highlight below called Fragrances, which just is a mini review of all of those scents that I tried. And for the past maybe 6 months, I really haven't tried anything new. But now I'm kind of feeling like there are some spots missing in my fragrance collection. And one thing that really spoke to me was the Ellis Brooklyn Fawn fragrance. So the fragrance description is, this fragrance is like liquid sunshine. It contains milky coconut tones and bright citrus notes that say vacation in a bottle with every spritz. The scent lingers with a hint of sweetness and musk, like skin warmed by a day spent in the sun. And I first heard about this on one of Katie Fawn's YouTube videos when she was talking about Ellis Brooklyn, and someone in her comments said, if you haven't tried Fawn, you need to, because it's a better version of Soleil Blanc. And Katie and I both love Soleil Blanc. And I loved that this one had more of a presence of coconut, whereas for me, Tom Ford's Soleil Blanc is very much like rich bitch, like wearing some expensive ass sunscreen. This sounds like it might be a little bit more similar to like Replica Beach Walk, which is one of my favorites. But unfortunately, I don't think they make a mini size. Like most Ellis Brooklyn fragrances come in their little like travel size for $30. But I didn't see that on the Sephora website. They only have the full size bottle. That's $105. So instead, last night I went to eBay and I bought a $5 sample from someone who, you know, like received it and just like resold it on eBay. So instead, I spent the $5 on that little sample so I could try it and wait to hold off purchasing the full size until I try, because I would always rather try before I buy. All right, we're down to $953. Ugh. Okay, we have the Dior Backstage Concealer in 1C, another like flexible, hydrating, full coverage concealer. That's clearly the vibe that brands are going for. But some people have told me that the Dior range also just does not have anything that's a little bit more fair to light, but more cool. They always describe their concealer as having cool undertones. They rarely do, in my opinion. The reason I'm interested in this is because a lot of influencers have been talking about how amazing it is, but it has a radiant finish, which I like, but it didn't seem too radiant. Like it didn't look like it would make your under eyes look wet, which can emphasize texture, but it has a full coverage finish and it has caffeine, which I really like having in skincare products. I'm not sure if I would be 1C or 2C, but I'm gonna go with 1C since I really haven't been self-tanning. I avoid the sun at all costs. Next up, I have really fallen in love with Patrick Ta's Instagram. He does a lot of really beautiful tutorials on Instagram Reels, and he teased the new Major Dimension 2 Rose eyeshadow palette on a model, Stormy Bree, who's like one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen. and I just loved how her eye makeup came out. But when I saw the swatches from the brand and from some of my friends, the colors looked extraordinarily pigmented. And I think it's probably the kind of thing where as I start improving my makeup skills, I could understand how to just start with a tiny little bit and build in layers, and then those colors would make more sense to me. But given the fact that I rarely use my eyeshadow palettes, I think I could dupe a lot of these colors. Like for example, on my eyes today, I have the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize in Pillow Talk, which is kind of a rosy brown. I feel like I probably don't need all of the colors in that palette, and I could dupe a lot of it with what I have in my collection. So I'm going to eliminate the palette. It's also $68, so it's quite expensive. The next one is a product I know I'm gonna buy for sure. It's the Merit Signature Lip Lightweight Lipstick in the shade Slip. All of my friends on Instagram tried all of the Merit lipsticks on. Everybody I know loves the formula. And as I've been doing more makeup tutorials on Instagram, I realized I don't have any kind of brown lipsticks. I don't mean like dark brown, like a 90s brown, but more of like a kind of just neutral, not quite a nude lipstick, but not quite a brown lipstick color. And so my friends recommended the shade Slip to me. It might be a little bit too yellow brown for me, but we'll see. I'm really looking for something that's like a light to medium brown that's more neutral, but it looked amazing on all of my friends. So I'm gonna go with the shade Slip. Another one I am absolutely going to pick up is the Pharmacy Honey Halo Moisturizer in the jumbo size. It's $68, which is also silly to me because it seems like such a simple formula, but it was in my Sephora recommendations video. I ran out of it a couple months ago and I've just been desperately missing it ever since. So it's time for me to pick up the full size without a doubt. And the next product is one I added to my cart this morning as I was looking at more lipstick shades that would be a little bit like rosy brown in a kind of satin finish that was comfortable but not matte and more lightweight. I saw the Rose Inc Satin Lip Refillable Hydrating Lipstick. A lot of the reviews said that the formula was just so beautifully lightweight, somewhere in between like a glossy and a matte lipstick, just a perfect satin finish. I was sold on the color Persuasive, but then I was cruising through the Sephora reviews because I like to make sure I know what I'm getting, and someone said that it smells like flowers mixed with cocoa, and that makes me want to throw up. Any kind of floral scented lip product is an absolute no in my book, so we're gonna delete that. But the next product I have is one that's been on my list for ages, and it's the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Divine Powder Blush in Flirtatious. I know Kaki loves this shade. I know Kate the Great loves this formula. She has like all the shades. And pretty much everyone I talk to loves this blush. For me, it looks so barely there that I'm a little bit hesitant. I just kind of wonder, is the shade Flirtatious the same thing as my beloved MAC Glow Play in Blush Please? That's kind of like a barely there flush of rosy beige, but it looks like the color Flirtatious may be even lighter and slightly more cool toned, so I'm very much intrigued. I'm also super into powder blushes right now because they just make the skin look so airbrushed and they're so much faster to apply and blend. Honestly, I'm a little overwhelmed by my blush collection right now, and I just did a declutter and then I just got a few more blushes in PR, and so I'm like, oh, I don't really want to add to that collection because then I have to declutter more. So I'm gonna keep it in my cart for now, but it's on the chopping block. Next, we have the Givenchy Rose Perfecto Tinted Liquid Balm. Really any of the colors, but I have Pink Irresistible. I did go and smell these in the Sephora store, and sadly, we've got another floral scented lip product on our hands, so that is a very fast delete. Another product I tried in Sephora was the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer Blush in the shade Provence. Loved the color. It was like a barely there beige with a hint of rose. And sadly, I did not like the way that the texture felt on my hand. First of all, I don't like the mechanism of the product. Anything that comes out in a squeezy tube where you have to like apply it to your hand first, that's just too much work. I don't want to dirty up my hands, you know? If it came with like a little sponge or something on the end of it, that would be a totally different story. But also, when I applied the product on my hand and squeezed it out, it was like an oil. It was like a thin serum oil. And anytime I've tried a product like that, it has like picked up my foundation, and it's just been really like cosmetically not that elegant. So I decided not to buy it. And then I was hearing some reviews from my friends. The feedback I heard was that they dry down so incredibly fast that you can't even blend them out before they set down, and then they become really patchy. So as much as that shade Provence looked so beautiful and barely there on the skin, that kind of tricky formula is just not something that I would ever reach for. Okay, the next product I have in my cart is the Patrick Ta Major Volume Plumping Lip Gloss in 2ccs. I was drawn to this when I saw Patrick Ta's Instagram. The color, specifically 2ccs, looked like when you see people get lip injections and their lips afterwards have this like flush of red pink. It looked like that. Like it looked like they had just gotten lip injections. That same kind of color, that same kind of like flush. But a bunch of my friends told me, Kate, avoid at all costs. It is like one of the most disgusting smells ever. And it's a plumping formula that kind of burns. So they were like, you would hate it. And when I went to Sephora last weekend, I was so confused because it smells like bubblegum, cinnamon, and like mint all in one. It just was not something that I would want. It was too much, far too much. So unfortunately for me, that one's gonna be a pass too. I learned my lesson from the Makeup by Mario lip glow serum that anything super mentholy is just not gonna be my vibe. My friend Kelsey raved about the Huda Beauty Glowish Soft Radiance Bronzing Powder in the shade Tan Light. I think she has the shade medium, but I want something that is like barely there on my skin because the more I stay out of the sun, I feel like the paler I get. And what I loved about the idea of this bronzer is that they have a mini size for $17. And that's amazing. Like, I really don't use bronzer on a daily basis. I don't want these like huge bronzer pans carrying around in my travel makeup bag. I want minis. I love that. And so I'm gonna go with Tan Light in the mini size for just $17 so that when I want more of like a radiance bronzer, I have that. And then I can have the matte version of the Makeup by Mario. Next up, again, my face is feeling so fucking dry these days. And so I wanted to get the Too Faced Mini Hangover 3-in-1 Replenishing Primer and Setting Spray. I love anything that comes in a mini size so I can have a little bit more of like a try before you buy experience. But again, I have to get through my Tatcha Luminous Dewy Mist first, and then I can buy another setting spray. So that one's gonna go. Next up, we have the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip Plump in the shade Poppy. This one makes me so mad because Tarte released their Maracuja Juicy Lips a few months ago, and they had this kind of like salty coconut scent, not a plumping product at all, but I just truly wasn't drawn to any of the shades. They all seemed like very cool toned. A lot of like berries, a lot of mauves, a lot of pinks. I'm really finding that the only thing I'm kind of missing from my lip collection are better browns. Truly, the only browns I have are in the Fit Glow Lip Serum range, and while those are obviously my favorite lip products of all time, sometimes I want just like a lipstick. And so when I saw the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip Plumps, they have a much better shade range for me personally than the non-plumping version. And the shade Poppy is this like bright kind of reddish coral mixed with the strawberry. It's truly like the coral poppy shade of my dreams. I've been looking for this kind of poppy color for my lips for a long time. But I posted on Instagram and asked you guys to tell me what your experience was of the plumping quality of the Tarte Juicy Lip Plump. And it was pretty 50-50 split. Some people said it's just a barely there cooling sensation, much like the Lawless glosses, which I love. Those don't burn, they don't sting. It's not a menthol cooling. It's a little bit more of just like a very subtle, fresh mint kind of smell, like the Rowan ones as well. And then the other 50% of people said that the plumping sensation was so strong, they thought it was actually even more intense than the Makeup by Mario. And that was like my most hated lip product of all time. So sadly for me, I'm not gonna pick up one of the Juicy Lip Plumps until I can find it at Sephora and try it on. I just don't wanna be wasting my money or wasting any potential like returns getting thrown into the trash on products that I'm not 100% sure about. So I'm gonna delete that. Okay, so we're on the last product in my cart and we're only at $775. That's rough. So the last product is the Ellis Brooklyn Scent Diary Fragrance Discovery Set. My friend Kelsey really loves Ellis Brooklyn, and so I'm interested in trying more of the fragrances. Like I said, I'm most excited about Fawn right now, but I already bought that little sample from eBay, so I don't need that. But this discovery set has the other 4 or 5 shades that I'm interested in. It comes with Myth, Sunfruit, Sci-Fi, Super Amber, West, Sweet, Bee, Salt, and Après. So out of all of those, I have tried a few. The scent Bee is very much like a honey scent, but it was a little too sweet and a little too medicinal for me, so I didn't like that one. I've also tried Salt, and I really, really liked it. That's Kelsey's like signature scent, I think. But the dry down was a little too like ylang ylang. It was a little too floral for me, and I don't really like floral fragrances unless it's super subtle. So I actually might want to go put Salt on, because every now and then there are fragrances that I don't fall in love with, but I find myself being intrigued enough to revisit them. So I will revisit Salt, and I'm super excited to try Sunfruit. I'm really interested in fragrances that are fruity, as long as they're not like sickeningly sweet. For example, my favorite fruity scent is DS and Durga Debaser. It's like a juicy fig, maybe a little bit of peach in there. It's one of my signature scents for the summertime. I also love Diptyque's L'Ombre dans l'eau, which smells like raspberries to me and a little bit of rose. I love Byredo Pulp, which is very much peachy, maybe a little bit of grapefruit. And I loved 3 of the Hermes fragrances. I totally forget the names, but anyways, it was another like riff on fruits. It was like apples and peaches, and it was just super delicious. So I love fruity scents for spring and summer. Very excited to try Sunfruit. It also comes with Myth, which is one of their best sellers, and it's described as warm and sheer. It says it's an unforgettably gorgeous yet subtle perfume inspired by clean sheets and a swath of sun-warmed skin. That sounds so good. It contains notes of jasmine petals, pink lotus, and tiger orchid that delicately intertwine with clean white musk and warm white cedar wood. For me, that sounds a little bit too floral, but that's why I'm excited to try it in this kind of discovery set. It also comes with Sweet, which I've heard smells like candy, which is not my kind of thing. That's a little too young for me. An addictive blend of juicy pear, cozy umbrette, and playful marshmallow. So who knows, maybe I'll like it. But the one I'm really interested in is called Sci-Fi, and the scent type is Cool Spices. This is an otherworldly eau de parfum with vanilla notes like you've never experienced. I love vanilla fragrances, again, as long as they aren't super sweet. The fragrance marries gorgeous Madagascar vanilla beans with a cool blend of green tea, florals, and citrus that's completely unique. That sounds so cool to me, and I love the name Sci-Fi. And when I was looking through the reviews, a lot of people said that they'd never smelled anything like it, and so I like perfumes that are very much a signature scent that no one else has. And I haven't heard anyone talk about Sci-Fi, so I'm really stoked to try that. Super Amber is another one from the set that might appeal to me because it's amber, cedarwood, and vanilla orchid. So it's described as a super warm, addictive scent that envelops like a cashmere blanket on bare skin. I mean, these descriptions just totally get me. It features amber, upcycled Virginian cedarwood, vanilla orchid, and biodegradable musk. Yeah, that sounds really nice, so I'm excited to try that in the set. And I'm also excited about Après, although that's definitely more of like a fall winter scent. And a lot of the reviews on Sephora said that the scent memory was like in the wintertime in a cabin on like Lake Tahoe, and that totally sold me. Description is the rush of alpine air, a crisp whiff of evergreens, and the richness of bourbon, praline, and vanilla. Après opens dewy like first snow and evolves into a boozy, woodsy brew laced with spices and sweetness. Yeah, that also sounds very much me, so I'm excited to try that one. It also comes with the scent West, which I'm not interested in. It's blood orange, water lily, and vetiver, a scent with a bright and bohemian brew of blood orange, lemon, basil, and oak moss. It is a vibrant fragrance that invites you on a remarkable journey. But what's cool about it is it says that the fragrance encapsulates the bold and brilliant energy of the Los Angeles writers of the 1970s. The period of the 70s in LA is like one of my favorite historical periods ever. So I really enjoy that being tied into the fragrance. So I actually am a little bit excited to try it now that I'm seeing that. But that being said, my friend Rachel actually had an extra of this entire Ellis Brooklyn set. So I can go ahead and remove that. That's $32. out of my cart. So we're down to $749 with the discount, but without tax. Let me see what happens if I remove the Dyson. Without the Dyson, there's $406 in my cart. I'm going to get rid of the Pat McGrath blush in Flirtatious. I need to use up some of my blushes first in order to make room for more blushes, especially if Phytosurgeons is about to come out with their whole like Toasties range. I'm really excited for. It's a bummer because every time the sale rolls around, I always add so many things to my cart that I'm really excited about trying, but I don't need. So every time I actually end up participating in the Sephora sale, it's always just like backups of skincare and hair products that I need. I have a feeling that's what this is gonna end up being because it's like really difficult for me to justify spending money on more sunscreens when I currently have 4 that I'm using. Hard for me to justify buying new concealers when I don't know what the shades look like. Hard for me to justify, you know, XYZ. Whereas I can justify repurchasing products I know and love that I'm almost out of. I'm going to hold off on the K-Skin sunscreen, even though that was one of the products I was most excited about, because I just would rather use up 2 sunscreens I'm almost out of my Kinship, and I'm almost out of my Coats Flawless Complexion. So once I finish both of those, I can buy this, and it's only $34, so I don't feel bad about missing out on the discount. I'm going to eliminate the Living Proof Full Conditioner because I use so much more of the shampoo. I need the jumbo size of that, but I still have like a little over a quarter left of my current bottle, and the regular size is only $30. So I'm just gonna repurchase that whenever I run out of it and eliminate that. So now we're down to $324 without the Dyson, and it's all products that I actually need. Like my Living Proof Full Shampoo, my Tatcha Moisturizer, my Pharmacy Honey Halo, the 2 bronzers that I really want to try because I'm out of powder bronzer, all of my Moroccan Oil hair products that I'm about to run out of. And then the only 3 products that I was really excited to try just for my own like creative makeup fulfillment were the Lawless Concealer, the Dior Concealer, and the Merit Lipstick. That's all we've got left. I know I'm getting the Merit Lipstick for sure. It's my ideal formula and color. I really don't have any brown lipsticks, and all of my friends have been raving about that formula. So really this comes down to, do I want to take the risk to buy 2 concealers that likely are not gonna match me when I still have my Fit Glow concealer that I know and love? I just saw Wander Beauty is about to launch a mineral sunscreen, and it has like the same yellowish tint as the K-Skin. So I'm glad that I removed that because I work with Wander Beauty regularly and I think they're gonna send me that sunscreen. So very glad that I removed the K-Skin. I've made an executive decision. I just stalked a bunch of tagged pictures of Lawless on Instagram. I saw a couple people wear the concealer and they said it has a matte finish, but it's hydrating. I zoomed in on their Instagram pictures and I thought their under eyes kind of looked like shit. They looked like really dry and kind of textured. So because it has a matte finish, even though it says it's luminous, I'm going to eliminate it from my cart because I know a lot of people said that the previous concealer formula was one of the worst products they'd ever tried. So I'm just gonna wait, maybe see if any of my friends do some reviews. So I'm gonna delete that. Oh no. There are some other things I forgot to add to my cart that I wanted. Oopsies! One thing I forgot to mention is I was gonna buy 4 backups of the Josie Maran Intensive Daily Repair Body Butter for eczema. My boyfriend tried it. He used the entire tub in a week. So he asked me to buy 4 containers for him, and it turns out Josie Maran was having a 25% off sale on their website. So I shopped from the brand directly and I got those there for him. Then 2 other products I really wanted to try. Okay, so the Saint-Tropez Gradual Tan Watermelon Daily Firming Lotion. I don't like gradual tanning products because I don't like having to constantly smell like self-tanner. Even in a gradual tan product, you always get that scent. I think it's from the ingredient DHA, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyways, this says watermelon, so I'm assuming there might be like a nice little, oh yeah, it says there's a nice fresh watermelon scent. That appeals to me in a body product. And what I'm gonna do is before Coachella, I'll probably get a spray tan, or at least I'll do like the Loving Tan 2-hour express. And then when I go to bed at night after Coachella, I can just apply the gradual tanner and it'll just help keep my tan fresh. I don't like to use the gradual tanning products on their own for a tan because they just really don't do anything on me. But I do like to use them to keep a tan looking fresh. So I do think that I wanna pick that up just so that I feel really confident in my skin at Coachella when I'll be showing a little bit more skin than usual. I haven't been around people in like 2 years since the pandemic. You know, girls gotta do what a girl's gotta do. And then another new sunscreen launch, the Murad Is it Murad or Murad or Murad? I just feel like Schmidt from New Girl. Murad. Anyways, the Correct and Protect Broad Spectrum SPF 45. PA++++, all mineral formula. It has iron oxide, so like slight little tint that prevents against blue light and sun damage. Beetroot extract, which I know my skin loves. And it has a satiny smooth serum texture, so it comes in a dropper. In my experience, serum sunscreens that are all mineral are generally not so good. They always are like super oily and like break my foundation up, so I'm a little hesitant. But again, I'm not gonna buy any new sunscreens until I use up what I currently have in my collection. Oh, I forgot, I have a $26 credit on Sephora and I have a $100 gift card. Really for me, the question is at this point if I'm going to go with the Dyson. I've made another executive decision. I'm gonna eliminate the jumbo size of the Living Proof Full Shampoo and Conditioner because even though I'm almost out of the standard size bottle, I just remembered that I have a whole other shampoo in my cabinet that I have to use up. And it is one of my favorite shampoos. It's the Odell Volumizing Shampoo. And while it did not give me the results that the Living Proof did, I need to use that up. Otherwise it's gonna go in the trash and that's really wasteful. So I'm not going to purchase the Living Proof Full Shampoo in the value size until I've gone through my current full shampoo and my Odell shampoo, and then I'll buy it. Every single product in my cart are all of my favorites that I'm just about to run out of, with the exception of the Dyson, although my current hairdryer is about to kick the bucket. The two bronzers I haven't tried, but I really need a new bronzer and I'm just not sure between the two which one I'm gonna like. So really there are only three kind of superfluous products. We've got the Dior Concealer in 1C, which is a risk. That's the only one I think is really risky. The Merit Lipstick in Slip. I don't have a brown lipstick, so I really would like that. And then the Saint Tropez Watermelon Gradual Tanning Lotion. Honestly, I'd really like to have that product as we go into spring and summer. So for me, I can justify looking at my collection, what's needed. I can justify all of these except for the concealer, I think, because it's just so rare for me to find a shade match that it's just highly unlikely I'm gonna like this. I live 4 hours away from the nearest Sephora, so I can't find a store and go in there and swatch. So really this is my only way of trying new products, and during the sale, that's the best time to try it. Who knows, maybe I won't buy the Dyson, maybe I'll just wait a few more months, see if I can tough it out with my current hairdryer, but I really did love it when I tried it. Usually after this video, I would then film a Sephora haul of what I got, but frankly, these are all repeat products that I just talked about in my Sephora recommendations video. Hopefully I'll catch you in my next one. I'm gonna start doing a series of makeup looks inspired by my favorite cocktails, and I'm gonna start with an old fashioned, so I'm really excited about that. And I'm also gonna be filming a perfume collection video, which I could talk about fragrance all day. It's one of my favorite topics. So I hope you're excited about those. Would love for you to subscribe before you leave. And if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.